Welcome back to FAMS Flow Yoga. Today we're going to focus on relief, finding relaxation through our practice and also an opportunity to rest from your functional fitness programming. So a lot of the exercises today are going to deal with flexibility. Now, you can certainly practice on a yoga mat. We've had a couple of opportunities to roll it out, but if you're not comfortable, you can also practice on a softer surface like the sofa or even your bed, or you may want to bring a chair to modify as well. So let's get started. We're going to begin seated. If you are on the floor, you can stay in easy pose, or you can even uncross the legs and let your knees lift slightly to alleviate any tension in the hamstrings. You could also sit on a pillow, which would change the angle at the hip and the knees as well. And then choose what you'd like to do with your hands. You could place them palms down on the knees or palms up in the lap. And then just invite the eyes to close as we prepare for our body scan. And just taking note of what you're feeling and how you're feeling today. Starting with the face as you gently relax the brow. Soften the jaw and the cheeks, leaving that little cushion of space between the back teeth. And now from here, we're going to slowly lower the chin toward the chest. Without forcing, we're just allowing gravity to tug at the forehead. And with the chin tucked in, slowly begin to rotate the head, just sweeping the chin from shoulder to shoulder. And then slowly bring the head back to neutral, leveling the chin parallel to the floor. And from here, let's release the right ear toward the right shoulder. Nice and easy. And maybe taking note of what you feel on the opposite side. Sometimes when we're a little tight in the traps, you may notice guarding, where that shoulder will lift in response. So if it's available to you, try to create a little bit of counter stretching. Good. And head back to neutral. Now let's switch sides. Good. And slowly return to center. Now, let's start to correct the posture. We want to sit nice and tall, so engaging those core muscles from front to back, even drawing the navel in toward the spine, but creating a little scapular retraction. So give me that pinch very lightly between the shoulder blades, which is going to open and lift the chest, ready to receive that deeper breath. And now let's start to release the hands as you rotate your wrists, wiggle the fingers, maybe give your hands a good squeeze. Even flex and extend. Excellent. And slowly release. Now we're going to settle in, quieting the mind as you start to awaken your breath. So when you're ready, with the mouth closed, drawing the air only in and out through the nose, let's begin to make that transition. And I want you to imagine that breath once again beginning in the base of your abdomen. And feel the belly rising, kind of distending forward. And let the rib cage expand out to the side walls. And then send that breath as high as you can all the way to the collarbones, only to release it in reverse. So just taking your time, creating this nice, slow, rhythmic flow, allowing one breath to move seamlessly into the next and back again. But most importantly, embracing the calmness that comes with this deep breath, which taps into what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm things down, like your heart rate and your blood pressure, which is great certainly in yoga, but also in life as well. So let's continue this quiet focus for 5 more deep breaths as we prepare to begin. Good. Now, we're going to start to warm things up just enough so that the muscles are ready for our deeper stretches. So I want you to imagine your torso or your spine is like a wooden spoon in a mixing bowl. And we're going to start with some nice, slow, small circles. So keeping the diameter rather tight, but I want you to take note of what you're starting to feel along the way as we awaken the muscles that support the spine in the lower lumbar region. And then let's slowly begin to widen that diameter. Maybe even holding on to the knees for support as you explore your range of motion. Good. Give me one more rotation. And then we're going to switch the direction. But let's keep it a big circle. And same thing, noticing any differences in this direction. Maybe even pushing gently into the inner knees if you do have your legs crossed. And now start to make that angle a little bit smaller. Almost like a spiral. And one more rotation. And let's sit tall. Good. Now we're going to add a forward fold. So when you're ready, just start to walk the hands out in front. And you stop as soon as you feel a comfortable stretch. So remember, you are in control of the intensity for all of the exercises that we do. But if you have your legs crossed, you're going to awaken a nice stretch across the hip and the glutes, and maybe into the lower back. And now gently rock from side to side, loosening the back a bit more. Good, and we're going to come back to center, walking the hands back. And now let's switch the position. So whichever leg was in front will now be tucked behind. Or if your legs are uncrossed, go ahead and stay right there. Because now we're going to bring some lateral movement. And I want you to think of a wave. So holding on to the knees once again, we're going to lead with the right rib cage toward the right wall, followed by the right shoulder, and then the head. Nice. We're going to switch directions. So rib cage, shoulder, and then the head. Good. And just take your time. Same thing, exploring the sensations as we start to lengthen the muscles that flank the side body. And as you maybe explore deepening here, even push into the inner knees, providing a little support but also a counter stretch. And give me two more in each direction. And as you make your way through that final sway on that last side, let's go ahead and bring it back to center. And once again, we're going to fold forward. So walk the hands out in front. Coming into that clam position. And hopefully, if your legs are crossed, you're going to notice maybe a little different sensation with them in this position compared to the first. I bet you didn't know that you have a favorite side when you cross your legs. Let's go ahead and rock gently. Good. And we're going to slowly bring those hands back to rise up. And now uncross the legs and we can rock the knees from side to side, loosening up the hips. Excellent. So we're going to focus on lengthening the hamstrings and also the inner and outer hips. So I'm going to change my orientation. So if you are on your mat, I want you to take advantage of the length of your mat. And we're going to extend the legs forward. And once again, if you're taking care of the hamstrings or your back and you feel any pulling there, go ahead and let the knees pop, or you can slide a pillow underneath for a little support. Now, I mentioned once before of using a yoga strap, or you can use a towel. You can even use an old necktie or a robe tie. And we're going to use this as an assistive device to help bridge the gap. So first off, I want you to sit nice and tall, and on an inhale, we're going to reach, sending those fingertips up, and we want to keep the torso lengthened here. And remember that hip hinge? So we're going to utilize it here on an exhale, fold forward but without rounding the back. And then just stop as soon as you feel that first sign of tension in the hamstrings and the back, and then release your hands wherever you are comfortable. Now again, you can hold on with your hands to your shins, your calves, or your ankles, or you can use a yoga strap or a tie and just wrap it around your feet, which is going to give you a little bit more control without having to worry about holding on to maybe your pant leg. And then that way you can put a little muscle behind it. Also, we want to keep the feet flexed, so if you are using a yoga strap, you can place it right at the ball of the feet so that you can pull slightly back, which is going to activate the calf. It may even increase the intensity of the stretch behind the knee, so make sure that you're staying within your comfort zone. Kind of think of that scale of 1 to 10, and even with stretching exercises, you want to stay anywhere between a 7 and an 8. And nice deep breaths, remembering the more relaxed you are, the more those muscles will release on their own. And if you're noticing that release, maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Again, only if it's comfortable for you. Good. Let's go ahead and rise up. We're going to release just that left foot, bringing the left foot in the inner edge of the right thigh. Sitting tall, once again, if you don't have a strap, hands on either side of the hips, we're just going to inhale, reach, and then exhale, fold, holding on anywhere along the length of that leg and putting a little muscle behind it. Again, without rounding, kind of imagine that you're looking at something on the floor just beyond your foot. That way, your eyes are your headlights, because if you're looking straight down to your knee, oftentimes the back is going to want to round as well. So let your eyes be your headlights to help you with your alignment. And once again, nice deep breaths. So with each inhale, imagine that you're lengthening a little bit more. And with every exhale, feel yourself settling a little bit deeper into the stretch. Good. And slowly release. Now from here, we're going to rotate that left knee up. Place the left hand behind the back, and we're just going to twist in that direction. And you can hold on or hug the knee. If you're taking care of the rear hand or wrist, you can even hug with both arms. But I want you to really practice keeping the torso upright and keeping that right foot flexed and active, so the toes and the knee are still pointing up toward the ceiling. Now, if you are okay with the hand behind the back, kind of create a little corkscrew effect. So pushing into the floor and hugging in at the same time. And this is going to awaken a nice, yummy stretch in those muscles of the lower lumbar region, even into the lats, which again flank the sides. Awakening even the external obliques too. Shoulders away from the ears, top of the head reaches for the ceiling. Nice. Let's rotate the head to look forward. We're going to unwind and switch sides. So extending. Let's bring now that right foot into the inner left thigh. Doesn't matter how high. Always make sure it's comfortable for both the knee and the hip before proceeding. Nice tall torso. We'll inhale, reach, And then exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward, releasing your hands wherever they may touch. And once again, find a spot on the floor out past your toes to direct your gaze, and then put a little muscle behind it. Feeling as if you're trying to pull yourself forward. And once again, if you'd like, you can use your towel or yoga strap. But nice deep breaths, whichever option you choose. And maybe noticing anything different on this side compared to the first. Good. And we'll slowly release. You can set your towel aside, and we're going to rotate now that right knee up, right hand behind the back. Let's continue the rotation. Sitting tall, again, either with one arm or both. We're giving a good hug. Shoulders away from the ears. And then nice deep breaths, working with the resistance. If it's comfortable for your neck, even rotating your head to the right. But still keep that left foot flexed and active. Good. Inhale, rotate your head to look forward. We're going to exhale, unwind. And now let's go ahead and slide that heel back to meet the right, bringing the soles of the feet together, and we're going to hold on to the shins or the ankles. And just start to correct the posture using those nice strong arms. Let's drop those shoulders down and back. And take a moment and let the knees bounce just for a moment so we're not guarding in the hips. And then maybe even lower the chin gently toward the chest. And this is going to initiate another nice light stretch in the neck. Now give me some slow neck rolls, opening an ear toward the ceiling, lowering the chin toward the chest, and just switching directions. And this is a good stretch you can initiate any day, whether it's first thing in the morning or after a long, busy day. Good. Head back to neutral, and now on an exhale, we're going to fold forward, and you can place your hands around your feet if you'd like, and then maybe even allow the forearms or the elbows to release into the inner shins or inner knees. Now, a little secret here. Our knees are bent, which is safe now for the back to gently round. When our legs are extended, we don't want to compete with tight hamstrings, which is why we really stress the importance of utilizing that hip hinge. That also keeps the back safe. So noticing not only the stretch in the inner hip and thigh, but also how your lower back is responding to this stretch. And as always, staying within your comfort zone. And a good rule of thumb is listen to your breath. If your breath has changed at all from that nice, slow, rhythmic flow that we started with at the beginning of our practice, that might be a sign of stress. So no worries, you can always modify, take a break, and reset. So let's go ahead and slowly rise up, and we're going to guide the knees up. Good. Now, give a quick peek behind you because we're going to make our transition to the back for just a few strengthening exercises, still keeping our focus on relief, which is why we'll be on our backs, which I think is a really good relaxation position to be in. Now, if you're taking care of your back, a safe way to make the transition is to roll to one side, lower onto the forearm and the elbow, and then you can release to the shoulder. So using the opposite hand to assist. And then once you're on the shoulder, you can just roll to your back. Okay? So let's slide those heels back also, making sure the lower back is comfortable. Sometimes with all of our seated positions and even the forward folds, it can become a little tight. So placing the hand on the abdomen and just start to feel your breath once again, making sure it's just as slow and control as it was at the start of our practice. Nice. And now we'll place the hands down to our sides, palms flat. Walking the heels back and making sure that the thighs are parallel, knees comfortably stacked over the ankles. And from here, we're going to push with the feet to lift the hips up toward the ceiling, coming into a bridge. And this is going to help smooth out any tension once again that we may have created from those seated positions. Even notice a light stretch from the hips down through the quads, the fronts of your thighs. But also take note of what your feet are doing. We want even pressure, but the toes nice and light, so give them a little wiggle. And now hopefully you're starting to feel some heat building, so let's make that dynamic. Exhale, slowly, gently, softly, release. And as soon as the hips touch down, let's inhale, lift them once again. Nice and easy. And just matching the movements with the rhythm of your breath. Good. Let's do 4 more. And as you approach that final round, let's go ahead and lift and hold it. Maybe even reaching those fingertips toward the heels. Give me one more active squeeze, engaging the lower back, hamstrings, and the glutes. And then slowly release. Nice. From here, we're going to take that left ankle, cross it over the right knee, and just externally rotate at the hip, making sure it's comfortable for both the knee and the hip. Left arm will stay down to your side, right hand behind the head. And on an exhale, we're just going to lift and twist to the left. Inhale, return to start. Exhale, lift and twist. Inhale, lower. Taking your time. Leading with the shoulder so you can maximize that rotational effort. Give me 2 more. Lift, twist, and hold at the top end. Nice. And slowly release. Now we're going to activate that figure 4 stretch from this position. And in yoga, we actually call it the pretzel stretch. So from here, let's start to lift the legs as a unit. Again, you were in control of the intensity. You can simply just elevate that right foot until you feel a comfortable stretch. Or you can explore the bind and send that left hand between the space between the thighs and holding on underneath that right leg. Shoulders away from the ears, using your biceps to adjust the intensity. And this is going to awaken a nice stretch in the outer aspect of the hip and even the glutes. Because tight hips affect everything above and below that area. So think about the health of your back and also your lower extremities. Good, and we're just going to slowly release. And now we're going to double dip with hamstrings. So we did a seated version. Now we're going to uncross that left leg, maintain a slight bend in the knee, and we're just going to gently pull back with the hands. Or if you have that yoga strap again, you can certainly wrap that around your foot, providing a little back pressure just until you feel a comfortable stretch in the hamstring or the calf. Now let's slowly release. We're going to prepare to do all of that on the opposite side. So start by crossing that right ankle over the top of the left thigh and knee. Left hand behind the head, right arm down to your side for stability. And when you're ready, we're going to exhale, lift and twist to the right. Inhale, slowly return to start. Good. Exhale, lift and twist. Inhale, lower. And moving no faster than the rhythm of your breath. Let's do 3 more. And as you make your way to that final round, let's go ahead and lift, twist, and hold it. Elbows open wide. Good. And slowly release. Nice. Keeping the legs crossed, let's lift them together into our pretzel stretch. Again, take a moment to ensure that the knee and the hip are comfortable. And then you could decide if you'd like to increase the intensity by exploring the bind. And remember, when we grab hold of a limb or find the bind, it's like bridging the gap or completing a circuit. It allows you to change the sensation of the stretch. Because each time that you come to a pose, you're going to experience something a little different. And over time, you're going to see improvements in your range of motion. So these binds allow you to explore deepening. Good. And slowly release. We're going to uncross and just send that foot up toward the ceiling. Again, holding on anywhere along the length of that leg, maintaining a slight bend in your knee, and just provide a little back pressure, stopping as soon as you feel that first sign of tension, and breathe into it. And these are wonderful stretches to do on your own, again, because of the health of your back. Sometimes just our activities of daily living can create a lot of stress in those areas. And stretching is designed to help bring relief. Nice. Now we're going to bring both knees into the chest, one at a time, and just wrap the arms around the knees. And let's make some slow circles. So we made circles while we were seated. Now we're going to make them with the knees in this reclined position. And just like before, let's switch the rotation. Excellent. Now bring the knees back to center, and we're going to open the arms out. You can bend the elbows, you can extend them in a full T if you'd like, but we're going to release the knees to the floor on the right, coming into a nice spinal twist. And again, adjusting what feels good for you. You can adjust your knee tuck high or low. You don't have to allow the knees to go all the way to the floor if that's not comfortable. You can even slide pillows underneath the knees. But then try to relax through the shoulders as you rotate your head to the left. And once again, breathing into the twist. Good. Now take your time. Maybe even let your feet touch the floor or your mat as you slowly come back to center. Readjust to ensure that your spine is in line, and then we're just going to twist in the opposite direction. Again, you can keep your feet down, or if you'd like, you can bring the knees into the chest to make that transition. And then adjust the knees high or low based on what feels good for you. And then you could also rotate your head to the right. But with eyes closed, breathe deeply. enjoying the sensations of this final spinal twist. Good, and let's bring the knees back through center. Keep them tucked in for a moment. We'll place the hands on the top edges of the knees, and on an exhale, lift the head and shoulders, tucking in nice and tight to your cannonball, just softening everything from the base of the neck down to the waist. And then slowly unroll, lowering one foot at a time. Return the arms back down to your sides, and from here we're going to push with both feet to lift the hips into that bridge. Squeezing the glutes, lifting with the hips and also the base of the rib cage. And then exhale, slowly, gently, softly release. Now, as soon as the hips make contact, you get to choose how you'd like to close out your practice today. You could stay right here with the knees bent. You could also extend your legs out the length and width of your mat, coming into full expression of Shavasana, that final relaxation pose, even allowing the feet and knees to externally rotate as well as the shoulder. And then invite the eyes to close, taking one more deep cleansing breath as you return to your normal natural rate, softening the face with a smile, honoring yourselves for taking this time out today to bring relief into your exercise routine. Now let's give ourselves permission to truly release as you savor the fruits of your practice. Take rest. Good. Now very slowly, let's start to awaken the extremities. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, and rotate the wrists and the ankles. And slowly sweep the arms back behind you for one final torso stretch as you reach through the fingers and toes, arching the back, taking a deep breath here. And then relax the spine, drawing the knees into the chest one at a time. Wrapping the arms around the knees for another big hug. Can never have too many of those. And then let's roll to one side, holding here, just for 2 deep, easy breaths, preparing the mind and body to make that transition away from our peaceful practice, ready to take on the rest of our day. And only when you're ready, using the strength of your arms, very slowly rise up, coming back to a seated position at the head of our mat. And that concludes our physical practice for today. Great job. As always, listen to your body. If you need to find relief in your day between your exercise programs, just get a nice light warm-up in and choose your favorite stretches. But stay tuned for our mindful moment. This week's mindful prompt is relief, and your yoga practice includes moments of work and moments of rest. So experiencing the balance of both encourages us to appreciate the mental and physical benefits of providing relief in all aspects of life. So please allow the gaze to soften or invite the eyes to close and take the next 2 minutes to sit quietly and reflect on what relief means for you.